Jack. Hugo.
Morning, Grizzle.
Hello.
Alan asked me to give you this. It's a new wine list. He wants you both to write a 20-word description of each wine.
Oh, jolly good.
Apparently it's rather important.
Right.
How was the wedding?
Oh, the wedding, Grizzle, was magnificent. I don't know if you've ever been to Rio, but... I say, is everything all right?
Yes, yes, of course it is. It's fine. Everything's just fine.
I think a large drink.
Come on, Grizzle. Sit yourself down.
It's Alan. He won't talk to me.
That's bad, is it?
Look, if Alan was to fall in love, what sort of person do you think he'd fall in love with?
Alan?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose with someone like himself, wouldn't it? You know, hard-working, well-qualified.
Good businesswoman, very intelligent.
What's all that got to do with you, Grizzle?
I'm none of those things, am I?
Well, good Lord, no. But then you're not in love with Alan, are you? Oh, dear. Oh, dear, oh, dear.
You couldn't be just imagining this, could you, Grizzle? I mean, it doesn't sound like Alan to just walk into a room and take no notice of you.
Ah! Jack, Hugo, you're back.
Yes, indeed, Alan.
You got our telex, did you?
The earthquake that destroyed the church. The wedding being delayed for 2 weeks until Mardi Gras ended. Yes, I got your telex, thank you.
Hello, Alan.
Good morning. Now, I just wanted to check you got the wine list, all right?
Wine list?
Yes, yes. Griselda just brought it in.
It's just that it is rather important. The printers need the descriptions by tomorrow, otherwise Mrs. Gosling won't have them in time for when the new wine shop opens.
We'll get straight down to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Alan? Who is Mrs. Gosling?
Well, she's the woman we've got to run the new wine shop, Jack. Surely you... Oh, yes, you were at the Arc de Triomphe when we had the interviews, weren't you? Then, of course, by the time she'd started work, you'd both gone to Brazil.
Yeah, well, we were just wondering, you know, what sort of a woman she was.
Ah, well, she's a hard-working, well-qualified, good businesswoman. And very intelligent.
Oh, good.
In fact, we're extremely lucky to have her.
I think we better have a word with this Mrs. Gosling. Well, there's no sign of her there. Yes?
I'd like a bottle of wine, please.
I'm sorry?
A bottle of wine?
Oh, yes. Well, I'm rather afraid the woman who works here has deserted her post for the moment. But, look, do come in. Now, what sort of a wine did you have in mind?
Well...
Special occasion, is it?
Yes, that's why we're having wine.
Yeah. Well, what about that one, then?
Oh, yes. Liovo Lascar 77. Oh, yes, that's very suitable.
It says here £55.
Yeah, I suppose it would be about that, wouldn't it?
I don't think that I could really...
I'll tell you what. Why don't we try a glass and see, eh?
Yes. See how you like it.
You're very kind.
I'll set up a few more you can try.
Yes. Before you make a final decision.
Can I help you at all?
Yeah, this gentleman is buying some wine.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm afraid we're not open till next Tuesday. Our license doesn't start till then.
Oh.
We look forward to seeing you next week, sir. Goodbye. You must be Jack Mowbray and Hugo Walker.
Yeah.
Zena Gosling.
How do you do?
How do you do?
How do you do?
How do you do?
I hope you don't mind us coming down to,
Oh, no, not at all. In fact, to tell you the truth, I'm rather glad to see you. Alan told me you might be able to help me out a bit.
Well, if there's anything we can do...
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I do find all these vintages rather confusing.
Oh, well, there's not a lot to it, really.
I mean, you know, some of them I've never even heard of. This one, for instance.
Ah, yes, the Condrieu. Yes, well, it's a white wine. It comes from the Viognier grape. And, well, it's rather soft and fragrant.
You know, to drink it young, it tastes a bit like a Chateau Gruyere.
Does it really? You couldn't bear to write that down for me, could you? Then I'd know for next time.
Well, of course, with pleasure.
And perhaps, Jack, you'd make a start on the others.
The others?
I must say I was so relieved when Alan told me you'd be able to take charge of it all.
Yes, well, I'm afraid I don't think we'll be able to do much this morning.
Alan did mention it has to be at the printer's by tomorrow morning.
Yes, indeed, he did, but you see,
well, of course, if you'd rather do it this evening.
Well, it's the annual reception at Christie's tonight.
Well, I did think that you might prefer to get it done now. I really am very grateful to you both. Makes such a difference having these things done by experts. I'm just going to be doing a few things in the stockroom, if you need me at all. Tell you what. I'll do them in here. And then, if you need to ask me anything, you can just tell me. Yes, Hugo?
Well, we just wanted to...
Yes, we came down here to ask if you and Alan were...
nothing.
Yes.
I don't believe it.
Is something wrong?
No, it's just you've got more work out of them in 2 hours than I have in 9 months.
Oh, I see.
How did you do it?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I do have a couple of children of my own. Well, Jack and Hugo are somewhat older, of course, but same principle, I suppose.
Yes, it really is most impressive, Zena. Come in.
Your coffee, Alan.
Thank you. Can we get you one, Zena?
Hmm? Oh, thank you.
So, when might they finish these wine descriptions?
Is that another coffee, Alan?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, it shouldn't take more than about an hour or so, but the problem is keeping their concentration. It does have a slight tendency to wander.
Don't I know?
In fact, I think I ought to skip coffee and get straight back. Not very wise leaving them unsupervised too long.
You certainly seem to have got their measure, Zena. Let me show you to the top of the stairs.
Oh, thank you.
It's a bit of a rabbit warren, I'm afraid. Please.
Griselda! Is it safe?
What?
Has she gone?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. It's okay, Hugo. She's gone.
Are you sure?
Yes, Griselda's here. You're perfectly safe. Oh, right. Oh, well, you're quite right, Grizzle. She has to go.
Well, what do you find out?
The woman's a menace.
Terrifying. Most appalling 2 hours I've spent since my wedding night.
No, but is it true?
Is what true, Grizzle?
About her and Alan?
Oh, very possibly.
She's had us working like Trojans.
I shouldn't, Hugo. It's got rather a lot of washing up liquid. So, will you be able to help me?
Ah, I thought you two were down in the shop. Have you finished already?
More or less.
Right, well, I better get back to the office and type about 500 letters.
So, how can I help you?
Well, it's about the shop, really.
Yes.
Yeah, what about the shop?
Well, now, don't get us wrong, Alan. We're just as determined to make a success of it as you are, aren't we, Hugo?
Oh, absolutely.
That's good.
It's just that, well, the decor.
What about the decor?
Purple plastic grapes.
Somewhat reminiscent of a South American brothel.
I wouldn't know. I've never been in one.
Ah. And the bar. It's rather small as well.
It's not a bar, it's a counter.
And what's more, there aren't any chairs.
Chairs? What do we want chairs for?
For the customers?
When the staff were taking their orders, I'm afraid we had to put that down to Mrs. Gosling's inexperience.
And we were rather wondering...
Sadly, if we shouldn't...
Reconsider.
Yes.
Chairs? When was the last time you saw chairs in a shop? Have you been in a shop for the past 20 years?
Well, I think...
I don't believe this. What happens if you want a new shirt? Or some toothpaste or something?
Oh, very
you are. I've been looking all over for you, Master Jack.
Thank you, Mrs. Monaghan. So kind.
I'm afraid they only had the grey, but they are the longer ones that you like, Master Jack, up to the knee.
Splendid. Thank you, Mrs. Monaghan.
I was wondering...
Just put it on the slate, Mrs. M.
Oh. Very good, Mr. Hugo.
It's Mrs. Gosling, isn't it?
Well, we were wondering if she was up for the job, Alan.
I have to say, I think she's first rate. She's got the shop sorted out after only a couple of days.
Yes, well, that's all very well.
And she's staying. Excuse me.
Alan?
Oh, Zena.
Yes, they are.
Oh, you do surprise me, haven't they? Yes, well, they're right here beside me. Don't worry, I'll just...
I must say, I did rather resent Alan's attitude, actually.
Which one?
Implying we didn't know anything about shops.
Oh, that business about the chairs, you mean? Yes. I wonder if he's right.
Oh, look, there's that supermarket again.
Yes, it's pretty big, isn't it? I say, does that sign say wine?
Yeah, I think it does. Good thinking, Hugo. Now, let's sort out this chair business.
Once and for all.
Yeah. Veronica, what are you doing here?
I thought I'd better give Hans a hand with the shopping.
Oh, Hugo's just won a wine tasting competition.
He's here, too.
Yes.
Attention, please. The Grocery Grand Prix is about to begin.
That's Hugo. They're just arranging his prize.
Mr. Walker, you have 2 minutes to fill that trolley, starting from now.
Veronica!
What is this, Hugo?
Well, apparently I've got 3 minutes to fill up this trolley.
I think you'll find us 2, actually, Hugo.
Oh, really? Are you sure? Excuse me. Did you say it was 2 minutes or 3?
2?
Oh, right. Thanks very much. There, you're quite right, Jack. It was 2. Actually, what's wrong with Harmsworth?
I had a spot of bother with a car.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Harmsworth.
What happened?
His lordship ran me over in the Bentley, sir.
Went straight over his legs. It was awful, Jack.
I think he'd forgotten that I was fitting the new exhaust.
Yes, well, we don't want to bore everyone with our troubles, Harmsworth. Jack says you've won some competition or other.
Yes.
60 seconds.
Yes, Harry, I've got to rush around, fill up my trolley as fast as I can with goodies. It's great fun, yes.
You did understand, did you, Mr. Walker? You have to fill the trolley.
Yes, he was just explaining that to us.
Right.
Well, we'd better not delay you, Hugo. How are things at the office?
Oh, actually a bit down at the moment, Bee.
Yes. Alan's got a woman now in charge of our wine shop.
A woman?
We're not ones to complain, Bee, but, I mean, some of my best friends are women.
Not many, but we...
This one.
I've always thought there were 2 places where one shouldn't have women assistants. Wine shops and chemists. What's the matter now, Harmsworth?
I was looking for the porridge, Mum.
Oh, can you see any? Yeah?
Porridge?
Porridge. Porridge.
30 seconds.
You've only got half a minute, Mr. Walker.
Yes, I was looking for some porridge, actually.
Porridge?
Yes, we've had a bit of a start round, actually, but there doesn't seem to be any.
Right. Right, I'll get you some porridge. Only please, put something in the trolley. We've got a press photographer here. I'll get the porridge. I've got a dump display in the photograph.
No, actually, she had Grizzled in tears the other morning.
Who? Oh, the new woman. Why?
Yeah, well, you know that Griselda's been carrying a bit of a torch for Alan.
No.
Yes.
And now he won't even talk to her.
Yes, and this new woman's wheedled her way into his affections.
Poisoned his mind.
Yes, he won't even hear a word about getting rid of her.
How utterly miserable.
Yes, well, she's got to go.
Griselda.
Yeah, no, Veronica, the woman.
But as the only person who can get rid of her is Alan,
Yes, and as the only person who can persuade Alan is Griselda.
you see the problem?
It's a bit tricky, isn't it?
Well, we've got to get Alan and Griselda back together.
Leave it with me. I'll have a think while I just pay for these. I may need a bit more of your pension money, Harmsworth.
Oh, we haven't got any porridge.
3, 2, 1, 0. Hands away from the trolley, please.
You haven't got anything. You haven't got anything at all.
No.
Yeah, but we have had a jolly good look round.
Yes, but there wasn't anything that we really, thank you so much.
Excuse me, has anyone ever suggested putting out a few chairs along here? Just a thought.
The only thing I can suggest to you is perhaps I came home with you and had a talk with Griselda, woman to woman.
Oh, would you?
Oh, if you've got the time, Bea, that'd be absolutely marvellous.
We can give you a lift.
Oh, right. Harmsworth, we've got a bit of a crisis. Would you mind awfully catching a bus or something?
This really is most kind of you, Veronica.
Not at all. If there's one thing I hate, it's people having to suffer unnecessarily. I think what you need, Griselda, is a good set of library steps.
What?
Would you mind, Hugo? Thank you. Please. Lovely. Now, it's really quite simple. All you have to do is to wait for him to be alone in the room with you. Then you climb up the steps, saying, you want to get a book or something.
I told you she'd come up with something.
Then at the top. Now, this is the only tricky bit. You have to hook your skirt over the handle here, so that as you climb down,
And, that's it, is it?
nature does the rest, Jack. I promise you, Grizzle, you'll have him eating out of your hand.
You've actually tried this, have you, Bea?
He worked on Borton, Hugo. That's what made him propose. And quite by accident, a year later, he worked on his half-wit brother. It was a bit embarrassing.
So what do you think, Grizzle?
Sorry to interrupt, Jack. I've just had Mrs. Gosling on the phone. She was wondering when you'd be down to finish the write-ups.
We'll be down in a second, Alan, just as soon as we can see Lady Bolton back to her car.
Yes, and then we'll be straight down to it.
Good. I'll just ring and tell her, shall I?
Better put this book back. Up on the top shelf.
Mrs. Monaghan, it's Alan. Is Mrs. Gosling there? Thank you.
Could you pass me the other book, please, Alan?
Sorry?
The other book.
Oh, right. There you go. Zena, Alan, yeah, they've just gone downstairs. I think they'll probably make a run for it again, but you should be able to cut them off at the main entrance. Right.
Why are you being like this, Alan?
Gotcha. Like what?
You know perfectly well what I mean. 2 weeks ago, it was all kisses and how much better my typing was.
Yes, well, 2 weeks ago, I didn't know you were engaged, did I?
Oh, but that's nothing, Alan.
Sorry. Seemed quite a lot to me.
But it's all off.
Oh. Does your fiancé know this piece of news?
Of course not.
Oh. Wouldn't it be quite kind to tell him?
Not while he's in prison, Alan. What sort of girl do you think I am? And imagine how he'd feel. No, I said I'd wait for him, and I will. When he comes out, I'll throw a big party. Then I'll tell him.
And Why would you do that?
Oh, Alan. Everything all right, Jack?
Fine, Mrs. Gosling, fine.
Let's have a look then, shall we? Yes, that looks splendid, Jack. Thank you so much. Just what we needed.
Is that it? May I go?
With my very grateful thanks. I just hope you haven't missed too much of your party. Oh, I think, you've still got 2 more, haven't you, Hugo?